Buongiorno. Alla internet doing my head in. And now I couldn't get me plug in. Couldn't get me plug in the socket. Look, don't even look like I'm wearing headphones. Well, that's good, isn't it? Oh, designer. Ooh, getting a haircut tomorrow. I'm making the most of it. Oh, shave his head. No. How are you all? Hopefully we've got enough internet tonight. How you doing, Ollie? Hope you're well this evening. Jake is waiting. Good evening, Slim. Oh, I saw Jake earlier. He was on Outspoken, having words about Islam. I was watching him. I was spying. I didn't say a word. I was just stalking, watching, reading his comments. When you hear something go bump in the night, it'd be me, because I break in and I'll just watch people at night. No, don't really. Don't go saying that, because people go, oh, triggered. Southside. Welcome, Southside. Caning on my internet. Not really. He's wired. I'm wireless. Cuckoo. That's what I am. But yes, I made sure the signal's there. It should be strong enough. It's all good. How you doing, Nelly? Man Monkey Seeds? Yes, I listened to your song earlier. My voice in it. Hilarious. But it's quite good, actually. Not hilarious like that. I mean, it's hilarious. It's got my voice. How you doing, Triggered? I literally just said Triggered. Did I? I just said Triggered. How weird's that? Buongiorno. How you doing, mate?
I'm very good, and Bon Jovi to you as well.
Oh, yeah, it's all Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because apparently heaven is a place on earth. Oh, no, it's not, because we've got Muslims here, so it must be hell. Just saying. Just saying.
It's true. I did make a remark or two about Islam earlier. That is very true. Nothing that I said, though, I wouldn't stand by or say to any Muslim's face.
Yeah, I was in one of those moods where I wasn't even going to comment, because like sometimes everyone's like, oh, how you doing? You got to reply to everyone and all that, and it detracts from like trying to watch Dan and whatever. So sometimes I do just, stalk.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's the only way to be.
I got legs like a stalk, so why not stalk? You know what I mean?
Why not? Why not?
Yes,
I saw,
like,
oh, sorry.
no, go on. You go first, because mine's just stupid.
Oh, well, I saw a video earlier from not too far away from here at Thetford, which is not too far from Norwich, and there was a protest outside the police station. They asked the police if they would speak to them, and they wouldn't. So the people there went out to where the HMO was that they were wanting to protest about, and stood outside and told the people to get out. And unsurprisingly, the police turned up with a riot van. Nothing kicked off.
Why?
But it just goes to show people, and it's a tiny little place as well. It's not, it's like probably, well, for me it'd be huge, but it's probably, for you would probably find it tiny. And just a normal housing area. And it just goes to show that people don't want this, and they are going to take action. And at the moment, it's peaceful. But the police are...
I did... I noticed they're going on about that Piddleton. I might have done a video for that about a week or two ago. I've actually got a video. It's funny because YouTube's like, yeah, we'll let 50 people see that, no more, no less. And now it's literally on TV News and all the other news. I'm like, oh my God, because I was like, Piddleton, that's a place in Oxfordshire. I know that because I've done a video on it. And obviously YouTube was like, we're not showing that to anyone.
Yeah, this one was at Thetford in Norfolk. It's where they also had protests about RAF Barnum. It's the same place.
Right.
Because some people have been put into houses instead of into that barracks. And the real reason
is Islamophobic.
Well, they're very Islamophobic because they had the barefaced audacity to protest, albeit peacefully, although you could tell they were far right adjacent and wanted a riot. But the Islamophobia was off the scale. I mean, do you know, they accused one of these migrants, 3 of them in fact, of dragging a girl into the bushes with the intention of having carnal knowledge with her. I mean, can you believe that people would say that? I was shocked.
Oh my. I mean, like, he goes out and starts protesting, saying you want to protect your women and children from blooming illegal immigrants or all, young men of fighting age with the Islamic ideology and consent is actually silence. I mean, there's nothing there to protest. What are they on about? Just get out there and introduce themselves and get to know them, surely.
Exactly. I mean, if they only got to know these people and understood the poverty that they're in, it's all about the poverty. It's the billionaires and the trillionaires that are behind everything. I mean, who needs to be a trillionaire?
Exactly. How dare you be that successful, make that much money? Because, you know, you might as well just then just give it all away
And then you
as
wonder
tax.
why poor people come over here. That they just don't understand these far right adjacent. They haven't got a clue. They're so bigoted.
Fascist, bigoted,
Fascists.
Islamophobic, Islamophobia, and every other word. What's that other
Yeah.
word that
They're
Douglas
trying.
Murray's got? Let me have a look.
Pakistan.
Islamophilia. That's what it is.
Oh, definitely. They're
Yeah.
definitely have Islamophilia, yes.
Isn't it weird that people like protesting they to be anti-criminal? It's pathetic. How you doing, Binky?
It
It's
is.
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
No.
I mean, seeing the police stood there, well, let me just explain it first. When they're shouting, this guy does come out, this quite clearly African bloke, and they're all shouting at him, get out. And the police are there protecting this person who is here illegally. I mean, surely their job should be
I,
escorting that gentleman off the premises, putting him back on a banana boat, and sending him back where he came from. They shouldn't be protecting him.
I think you're lying. I reckon it was just the women and the girls there, and they were shouting, "Get it out!" That's what I reckon.
Well, they were far right adjacent, so they're probably misogynists too, I guess. I wouldn't be at all surprised. They had that look about them.
Yeah, I mean, they're sort of inviting trouble into their own area with what they say and do. It's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? It's like they wonder why people say what they say. Stop trying to defend Britain. Stop trying to defend culture. You've got to be ashamed of absolutely everything. And men have got no right being worried about their wives and their children. It's disgraceful.
What is this Britain that people talk about? Where is its culture? What, fish and chips? Is that it? Fish, chips, and slavery. What a legacy that is.
Britannistan. Britannistan. It's crazy. You set
Well,
up
exactly.
Islamophobia information. Wow, say no more. Yeah, Douglas Murray, due to his upbringing and who he is, like he's already said, is why
Yeah.
he can write what he can, but Tommy Robinson can't.
It's his
So,
white privilege. It's his toff privilege.
ladies and gents, I found out today. I don't know if you all know. I will inform you, obviously, but I know now, thank God, why Jewish men get circumcised.
Why?
Because Jewish women won't touch anything unless it's got 20% off.
I'm trying not to laugh. I'm not laughing at that joke.
It was
Sorry, it
good
wasn't
though, wasn't
a fact. Sorry.
it? You
It's a
could have
good
that
point
free of charge.
about Tommy Robinson and Douglas Murray. Is there a difference between the two of them? Can Douglas Murray get away with things that Tommy Robinson can't? I mean, he did just
He
do
does.
his speech at the Oxford Union though recently.
Yep. That
So I'm
was all
sure.
being misportrayed.
And did he say anything there that Douglas Murray wouldn't have said? I'm sure he didn't.
Yeah, I think in certain ways, but you know, like let's look at how Tommy Robinson gets treated day to day, and like you know, all what's going on and why he gets arrested and that, and then look at what Douglas Murray says and sort of look at it from that context. You think, hang on, this is a bit one-sided, but I assume in the right, you know, like Oxford Union, you're there to say what you know. That's his environment. Yes, it's all good. Let's go.
Yeah.
And obviously not. That woman actually made the case for everybody else by saying that they're going to get cooked. It's like that's basically what we're saying, love. That was so
Well,
funny, but that's the right environment for Tommy.
she was referring to the culinary skills of the chef that was outside at the time. I think you'll find it wasn't certainly wasn't any form of violence whatsoever. But
But
speaking of
I was
violence,
triggered.
yeah, I
I was
bet.
triggered, mate, because you know when she said cooked, I was like, she did not specify baked or fried, and I've had a heart attack, and I can't be around fried.
I didn't even think of that. I mean, God, the trauma that must have brought for you. I'm so
Mate,
sorry.
my hair went white. My hair went white. I felt that ill.
I'm so sorry to hear that you had to go through that. I really, from the very heart of my bottom, I feel terribly for you.
Oh, classic. But anyway, what were you going to say before I rudely interrupted with my trauma?
There was the clip of Tommy Robinson earlier this week when he confronted the bloke that called him a prick, whose wife then intervened.
Yes,
What would Douglas Murray have done in that case?
he wouldn't have done that at all. He wouldn't approach anyone. He's not that sort of person.
So, which one of those two approaches is the right way? Which one is a real?
For, I, look, let's just look, for views and because of the said persona and the reputation, that's why he's done what he's done. But I personally would have just like, it's been and done. Who cares? I'd have been Douglas Murray and like, I don't care, mate. Like, move on.
Yeah, that's what I would have done. I don't see the. I see that you're sinking down to their level if you're doing that. But yeah,
Basically,
I understand what you're saying though. That when you're under that much pressure in the public eye, and you've got people that just give you abuse, and you've already got a short fuse, it's understandable why people would behave like that.
yep, definitely. But
But say that
yeah,
that
but
doesn't
I mean,
any.
yeah, you know, it's probably going to earn him a few quid with 50, 60, 70,000 views on that. Do you know what I mean? So fair play to him. Fair play. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get that. I understand why he's done it, but being who he is, like I said, in his reputation and that he's seen him knock people out, that fits in with who he is and what he is. So he's being true to himself. So had that originally happened with Douglas Murray and then that happened, then yes, Douglas Murray wouldn't have done anything. Do you know, he doesn't come across as a fighter. Like he'd be someone that I wish I was stood nearby if that happened because I would run in and help him. Do you know what I mean? I'm that sort of guy.
You say that, but Douglas Murray does sound like a public school boy, and they are very keen on their sports there. So he may well have been a rugby player, may well have done boxing. He might have a mean left
Oh
hook
yeah.
for.
Without a doubt, he would be the secret knockout. You would least expect it, and when he hits someone, he will have strength that you just would not think. Because, like you say, they are who they are. He's been bred well, and he will look after himself, I reckon. But
Yeah,
he
I
won't
reckon.
go out looking for it like that. But if someone aggravated him, he would surprise you and knock you the f out without doubt. I
I,
reckon he
I,
would.
and this is just my opinion, and I know we're all different about how we think about things, but as far as I'm concerned, violence should be the very last resort, and it should only be used in that occasion. If people are going around just giving people the eye, looking for fights, things like that, that isn't an appropriate use of violence. And that's something that I would think people should walk away from.
It's
But,
funny because when I was
but
a doorman, I had to walk in the pub gardens and in the pub. I was literally looking for violence. The irony.
yeah, yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place where the only response is a punch in the face. That's taken as read. But I think it should be the very last resort.
Yep, definitely. I had that yesterday. Scrambled egg on brown toast with
Ugh,
beans.
I hate eggs. Ugh.
Oh, I love them. I love them. But yeah, I don't think Tommy should have done that, but I understand why he did. So yeah, you know,
I,
he's a
I understand as well.
yeah,
Part of his persona is to have that about him, isn't it? Even if
yeah,
that might be who he really is, but he's being true to that persona.
yeah, definitely. But,
And it was funny seeing the bloke
yeah,
shit.
It's different when he's sober and all that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That is the one, isn't it? When it was in the thing and he banged him out because he was peed, a
yeah,
little bit pissed, wasn't he?
yeah.
Aggravating and all that, yeah.
But sometimes I think it's much better just to use humour and just say, yes, I am, thank you.
Yeah, I would have been more impressed with him. He should have just said, "Yeah, that was me. Do you know what? After all that, because I had one too many, I apologise. I was a complete twat, mate. I don't know why I was like that."
Yeah,
I would have had more respect for him for that.
yes. But
Do you
we're
know what
all
I mean?
different.
So, yeah.
None of us are
Jenny
right.
reckon. No, that's it. Jenny reckons she's got some texts. She's trying to make out she's got some friends. Oh, I've got texts. Look, look, everybody, I've got texts.
From my other phone.
I've done that. I used to have someone out, a few others going, "Oh, well, yeah, you had a phone call. You trying to make out you got friends. Oh, friends."
This
but
is a that's a
but yeah,
very good that Binky has put up there. That yes, the context is hugely important. So if, for example, you were in prison, not that I'm saying that Binky has been in prison, he has been in prison, but I'm not saying that he has. Of course, he's not a criminal or anything, but he might have spent time in that area, in that environment. It has to be a necessary tool because that is a currency in that environment, isn't it?
yeah. Oh, just realised my aliens. I see. I got him down. I was doing something.
So if you don't look after yourself, you'll end up getting robbed. God knows what else.
Yep. There's no point having a name like Binky if you're going to end up and your name's robbed. Like what? Oh, my name's not Rob. It's Binky.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, it's
But
good to
anyway,
see
ladies and gents, today's
him. Got all the crew in
um,
today. Plum Jacks, Lisa's here. Ollie the Green Witch is here. Of course, the Queen of the North is here. Very good to see you all.
what triggered Christian? You mean?
Triggered Christian.
Triggered gutted.
The second time today I've seen the Triggered Christian. Slimothy is here, which is always good.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's all good in the hood.
how could I miss Jennifer Juniper out?
Yep, she's in the house. Lisa's in the house. Oh, Lisa, hello, hello, hello. Nelly, I've said hello to. Oh, I think I've said hello to everyone. Brilliant. Oh, look at that. We got through a wee little chat. Look, 17 minutes.
Wow.
See, with age comes wisdom. That's me. No friends.
Yeah,
I've
definitely.
changed my website today.
And how has it gone?
Oh, do you know what? I'll give you all a sneaky peek. You can have a sneaky peek, all right? I've changed it
No,
because there's a few things going on, but yeah. I'll let you see it, ladies and gents. Obviously, please do not use the website.
no,
But
don't use it. Don't buy anything from it.
yeah,
Not
literally, like, because it's not ready.
no.
But this is it.
Very nice.
It's getting there.
He's getting there.
Spellbound. Who come up with that? Spellbound. I
Who
did
did come
actually
up?
have that written down as well. Nelly, I think it was. I did have it written down as well. I did have it to prove it. I wrote it down a while back because I was looking for all different things. But due to copyright, even if, like in life, people call me Gandalf, you're not allowed to use it because Gandalf was taken from Gandalfur. And J.R. Tolkien actually invented the name Gandalf, so he owns copyright to that. Whereas Merlin is a historical figure, public domain, not an issue. So what did I do? Put the R on the end. We'll go down the Norse type, you know,
It looks
one
like
with a
old,
powerful. It's cool, doesn't it?
exactly like what old
That's what it.
English.
And when you click it, it'll take you to the beard oil, and that's obviously where the picture will be. But doesn't it look nice? Very swish.
There will be a
Click on the
separate one
logo about
downstairs beards as well.
it. Spellbound. Hey, how about this, right? I had a genius moment today. I came up with half of it, or most of it, really. Then I asked AI about it, and it changed a word,
Okay.
but I went with it. But the very last sentence it says, "A scent for the woman who doesn't chase magic, she becomes it."
Oh, I say that's very seductive.
I said, "Who doesn't follow it."
Yeah, I think that yes, chase is more powerful. It's got more
Yes.
purpose.
Yeah, that was cheeky little AI jumping in. But I've got that
Well,
one on the front page because that's what's coming first. But it looks like, right, for what it costs and the amount of money I'm bloody spending, I've literally emailed them today and said, do you know what? Let's just go with the beard oil as well. We'll start with 2 different products. Might as well.
yeah, three.
So,
There's other beard oil as well. The downstairs beard oil for women. Got that too.
so yes, we're starting with Abracadabra and Gandalf.
But I'll
Ooh.
see. I hope that you sell out of the product, not as a
Oh.
person.
Well, I get £200 million offer for it all. I might just consider letting it go.
I suppose you'd have to, really, wouldn't you? I mean, I wouldn't turn that down.
I'll tell you
Two,
what. I'll say it right here, right now, ladies and gents. If I get offered 200 million, one, I will take it, and two, I will give Jake 1 million
oh,
just so he
fine.
can chill out.
Just
There you
to
go.
to show how things work. I'd do it for 20 quid, and I'd
Well,
even
you can
give.
give the rest, gents. Right. I was talking to the potential supplier, right, and I was in stitches. Do you know what he said to me?
No, what did he say?
He said, depending on what you're doing or whatever, he said, what's your plan like because of abracadabra, like being magical and that? I said, well, I'm looking at other things like Shazam, Alakazam, and Hocus Pocus or whatever. Do you know what I mean? For different male or female brands, possibly, because, all around the sort of spells and that. And he goes, okay, that's not a problem. But before we go any further, I'll have to say we do need to be careful because obviously, certain being around like magic or whatever, we don't want it to trigger any of our staff.
Yeah, we couldn't have that, could we?
My literal words were, "You what?" That's literally how I said it. I could not believe it.
Now, I think I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that abracadabra comes from Aleister Crowley. I'm pretty sure he took it from some Middle Eastern black magic.
Thinking about that.
It is. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
sure I believe here saying that there's buffering because I haven't seen any buffering today.
Buffer McBufferson in the house. That's you, mate. It's not me. I've done a speed check and everything. It's all tickety boo.
Yeah, it's
So, kiss.
definitely fine here. Last time it was buffering, so I could vouch for it being from there. But today there's no problem with the signal whatsoever from either of us. It's as clear as things could be.
Yep, it's going well here. I tell you, I would flip from what I'm paying. I'd end up be going like earlier. I was going, oh, it was better when I was paying like 20 something pounds.
Could be wrong.
I watched the first couple of minutes and I was like, yeah, I can see where this is going. Right, let me come out. We'll have that video. So it's definitely worth a watch. Everyone's buffering but mine. I know.
Yeah,
Exactly. So there you
mine,
go.
mine is perfect.
None of you are spending like money on full fibre, are you? So it's definitely
Yeah.
yours, not mine. All right,
Oh, have you
let's
got
go
full
with that.
fibre?
Just
Full
shut it.
fibre, are you?
Yep,
Me too. No problems here.
got the old Weetabix of internet's full fibre.
Look, don't blame us because you're on dial-up.
Yeah, gone back
It's
to
not
1992.
97 anymore.
uh,
All you people
But,
out there that
but
are operating on Windows XP, you need to upgrade.
yeah, yeah, I'm not having much trouble at all. And if it does get that bad, like my son or my missus might run up and say, actually, like we're watching that, and you're, do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, they probably would, wouldn't they?
So,
Well, if they are
so
watching,
yeah,
hello to both of you. Good to
they,
see you. Thanks for watching.
yeah, make sure you subscribe, the pair of you.
Yeah, subscribe and as well because no one does.
And on a mobile, you can hit hype.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
So, you know, this bloke's going to be a muppet 'cause he's wearing Gymshark, and it looks like he's going to go, amazing, great. It just looks weird, doesn't he?
Well, I wondered if he was going to go and try and do a nipple gripple on Based and Bougie by the way he's approaching her there.
Yeah.
Not appropriate if he was.
Well,
But
we'll
you
call
know,
her Based and Bogey because this was a good pick. No, it's not.
or Sintish, I think is her real name.
Oh, is that? That sounds quite cool.
Yes, I'm sure it is Sintish.
Wow, she's a sinner
What
then.
what I would really like
Literally.
her to do though is she said, I think it might be on here or it was on another one. She said how her family were from the Congo. So I would like her to go there with a carton of Libby's Umbongo, just to drink some and
Oh,
take a picture.
as soon as you said that, that was going through my head. I'm bungo living in the Congo. Oh my god, how weird was that? That
She's
was
got
lovely.
to
That
do it.
drink and all, by the way.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, I remember like kids used to have it. And I'm like, oh, you must be minted. Having that
Yes.
sort of drink.
Yes, I recall those.
uh, oh no, look, he's downstairs and saying it's buffering. God's sake, what am I paying for? I'll tell you, I'm going to lose my shit.
I
So
don't think it.
blanked
I
out
don't
because
think it is.
I'm bringing up a speed test.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it is necessarily the connection. I think it could be a StreamYard issue.
Yeah, because it's going through StreamYard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. See how bad it is. It says I need at least 5. Oh, that's not a good sign. Hey, it's yeah. Look, it says I need 5. 4, 4.5. That's crap.
5. What do you
Because
need?
you're sucking up the 500 geese. 599. That's great. I don't get it. It was all right beforehand. Yeah, download 5.99, upload 1.88. So that 5.99 is out of 500 and 1.8 is out of 70.
Well,
Well, yeah, it's literally just come up to it's buffering as well. That's
I
terrible.
haven't seen
So
it.
yeah, everybody else is buffering. It's not me. That's what I'm saying. It seems right here though, doesn't it? We've not had in because normally I can see it and it start doing whatever. We disappear and all that.
But then again, we're watching it in StreamYard though, and they're watching it in YouTube or X. So they've got another
Yes.
layer to go through. So it could be a problem there.
Yes. There's, I know. I pay in BT and say, right, yeah, right. Instead of paying 50, I'll pay 20 again, mate. And they'll be like, what? But yeah,
So
it's actually better. We never had this problem ever, did we? Well, now
Jennifer
and again we
Juniper
do.
said it's improved. I'm willing to go with that. I will take her word over everyone else.
Yeah. Strange but true. Well, let's see what it's like when we start playing it as well then. So,
Yeah.
because this is based on Bougie Demolishes Liberal Racebaiter. That's the title. But the
And
link to this video is in the description, ladies and gents. Just so you
yes.
know.
And it's really
You know.
good to see all of the great British people on screen at the moment, all very much patriotic, traditional British looking people with British names, probably. Very British. They know all about Britain and everything. I'm
They
looking
wrote a
forward.
song about based Bougie though, didn't they? Because I remember that bloke used to go, "It's a sin," and then she'd probably top up.
Do you know, whenever I see Banana Bad Mood, I can't help but think of saying Shabba.
Yeah. Remember that? Shabba. Yeah,
And I wish someone would do a clip that just had her on it saying Shabba.
I was annoying people the other day in the stream about 2 or 3 weeks ago because I was just going on and on, on and on, going like Shabana, banana, 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 Mahmood. Like, this is getting annoying now. And I was doing it every time I said the name. I was like, all right, I'll stop. But it was in my head then because it was becoming so regular. It's like, well, yeah, what do you call Shabana Mahmood when she gets sacked and she works in an auction house? Shabana, banana, 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 Mahmood.
Yeah, I can see how that would get quite annoying very quickly, wouldn't it?
Yep. Yeah, we're all buffering each other. You buffer me, I'll buffer you.
Oh,
Ooh, buffering.
Amazing Grace has graced us with her presence. Nice of you to muster up the decency to turn up on time, Grace. Oh, sorry, you didn't.
Yeah, it's been good. So, I can't remember if it was Grace or Nelly that mentioned Spellbound. I think it was Nelly. You have to
I
let me
think
know because,
it was the Queen of the North, I think.
but yeah, but
Haven't missed much. What do you mean, Triggered Christian, haven't missed much? We've had some very fine intellectual discussion and other things.
now I'm triggered.
Yes. Are you sure that's the right word, Grace? Oh, that was a bit patronising.
That sounds like that funny milk.
It does, but I love it. If
Milk.
ever anyone says, "Are you trying to patronise me, or are you trying to be condescending?" I always that response, "Are you sure that's the right word?" is always the best one.
Well, we want people to be more patriotic, so patronise away. You got to be patronising, don't you? Is that how you support your country?
I don't think there's anything more patriotic than a couple of coloured fellows. When I see that, that makes me feel Britain. It summarises the history of Britain in all ways, and the wonderful contribution that foreigners have made to this country ever since they built it in the 1970s. Because before that, there was nothing here.
Well said, Nelly. Was it Nelly or Grace? I did ask, but who was it come up with Spellbound? I can't remember. I was supposed to write it down, and I forgot. I can't remember who it was because as and when I'll get one, I said I'll send it.
That's a song by Susie and the Banshees, Spellbound.
Probably is.
Queen of the North. Well, Jennifer, I would do like a good buffering.
Yeah, don't start moaning because you get buffed. Yeah, it was Nelly. Yeah, I thought it was. Right, I've
You
written
can
your name
buff
in capitals because
Jennifer.
I'm going to forget otherwise. But obviously, because I was supposed to be doing abracadabra, then spellbound, but now I'm doing abracadabra and Gandalf beard oil. So, because whatever. But when I then do that one, I can then remember and send it to Nelly. So you come up with the name. I did have it written down, but it wasn't one I'd physically chosen. And when you said it, I was like, you know what? Yeah. And then I even Googled it, say like about Spellbound, and it's like, yes, you want names like Spellbound or Abracadabra. I was like, boom, top two, get in. I've
Indeed,
already got it. I've already got it.
I knew she didn't know that song, Grace. Good choice having it on 45.
Look, it was me. Yep. I'll remember as and when the time comes. Oh, you can remind me anyway. So don't forget, you said you send me one, and then what I'll ask you to do is email me your address, and then I'll send it to you. It's
Philip's
that
here.
simple.
Philip,
How you
good
doing,
evening.
Phil? I was just thinking about having a Phil. I mean, Phil. How are you, Phil?
And Kelly is here. Good to see you, blank faces.
Always getting ready for work. Let's get ready for
I
work,
do
geez.
I do hope that the cult have been leaving you alone. And not the rock band.
When you get to work, Phil, you look at that vehicle you drive around. Do you go, oh, for fork's sake? Just asking. You like that
For
with your
or
cutlery? I do that with my cutlery. I'm like, well, it's a forklift.
my mother said that to somebody once when they asked her for directions. And she said, yes, you go down here and then you fork off to the left.
Very good. Oh, no, you haven't missed nothing.
And yeah, you
Definitely
have.
sarcasm.
You missed loads. What is
I,
this fresh lunacy that I can see on the screen here? 381 million British pounds being funneled to a country that doesn't even exist. Shocking.
I'm just with Dumbledore. I don't know if that name's copyright.
Yeah, that will definitely be copyrighted 100%.
Is that what was invented?
Because Gandalf will be copyrighted by Tolkien's family.
Exactly. Yes, it is by J.K. Rowling's right holder.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. That means she invented the name Dumbledore. It did not exist in history like Merlin, same as Gandalf, like you said, because the estate owns it. And there's no way an estate like that, Lord of the Rings, would let a brand new company use Gandalf. It's not even worth it. But Dumbledore,
but
yeah, that's J.K. Rowling's.
you can have Bumbledore.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one that Slim has put there. Dumbledore is an old word for bumblebee. Because in Norfolk they have a curious name for bumblebees, or they call them Bishy Barnabies.
Ah, wow. See, that's what you do. Done a research and put it as a name and then copyright it. Happy days.
Well done, Slim.
Happy days.
On Chat GPT
But
again. Good stuff.
yeah, but like I said, I've got Gandalf, which is in Norse history and a poem by various people and whatnot. But anyway, it's there, so it's not actually copyrighted. I know
Yeah.
that because actually asked AI. I said, "Oh, the name Gandalf, where did it come from?" And then it told me. I said, "It's only got an R on the end." Let me just Google. Is that copyrighted? No, it's not because it's Norse history and it means like elf with staff or one with a powerful magical staff or something like that, protector. That spot on, mate. Gandalf are sold. That's how it was invented.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a strange thing, copyrights, because in some places they last much longer. They can be taken over by people. And I remember there was a lot of fuss about Elvis's songs were going to go out of copyright until somebody bought them. I can't remember what the exact um, arrangement was with them. The Beatles, of course, were famously
Yeah.
bought by Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Now, I don't
that's
know about
cool.
you, but I'm very much interested in seeing the pride that these two British young people are going to show in the country that we live in here and the respect that they have for our nation, its history, and for its empire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get sued, mate.
See, I wish once, this was a long time ago, I went to Camden Market and I wish I'd bought a pair of trainers there because they were a really shit knockoff of Nike, but they had a C instead of a K. So it said nice. I wish I'd bought them because it just made me laugh very much.
I like that. I like that. But yeah, I've got so much paperwork already. I'll tell you, I only come up with three. Well, three. There's another 4 products as well, but I'm not mentioning any of them. I'm not going to tell you that like they're body washes and gel and things like that. Vegan hair shampoo.
No.
Not,
Haven't you
not
got a
going to
book
mention that.
as well?
Oh yes, that. I wonder if anyone ever will watch this and think, do you know what? As soon as he said about the Book of Creation, he's written a book called Wizard No Name in the Book of Creation. I was like, oh, I want to buy that, and Netflix will want it, and we're going to make
Yeah.
films, and we're going to give him like 500 million quid. That'd be
Films,
handy.
films. You think that they'll film your book? Wow, a
Damn
film
right.
deal in the making.
It'd be so much better than Harry Potter because it's just aiming for a higher class, older
Well,
people higher. I mean,
to be perfectly honest, I think that Potter's nothing but muck. I infamously once in one of my classes threw it from my desk into the bin and said, "I don't want to see you reading this filth in my classroom ever again." That is actually
nice. I've never read it.
I've
It's a true
read
story, and is it
was
written in
true.
a Harry Potter book? That scene.
No, it should have. I think I read the first 3 of them and I just thought this is shit, which is a lot better
There's
than
quite a
I've done.
few of them.
Well, I managed with Twilight about 3 pages, I think, before I threw it at the wall in frustration.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, and there's me saying, come on, Jake. Yeah, let's go through chapter 1 of my book. I don't want you suddenly throwing your computer at the wall
No, no,
after 3 lines.
no. And yes, the trainers did look very nice. They were very nice indeed. I think what they should have done really is added an H underneath so it said nice hair. That would have been even funnier.
Yeah, I see what you've done there. Or a picture of Tony on it because it said nice Blair.
It could have done, yeah. I mean, it would have been the right time. It was that era.
Mm,
I mean, I wouldn't have bought those, obviously.
no. Yeah, I would like if someone actually bought that, right, and then had to write another one. I'd seriously think about like a lot of you in the chat and think, do you know what? I'll put a character like it'd be based on whoever. You got to have the mandatory Scottish bloke because I think they're hilarious in it, and they're always just don't give a crap. They're always drinking, like
I
that look.
always drinking iron brew.
I'm blue. I want my iron blue. Where's the
I,
wizard?
I'm going to stop there because I know that Slim will be appalled if I attempt a Scottish
Yeah.
accent.
John Paul Goat, yeah. I know him. He's a designer in Pakistan.
That is quite funny. I have
That is so.
Black Olives Matter, which I always find very amusing.
That's classic. Well, I've got a shirt that says Julia is not Madeline or Maddie, to be
Oh,
precise.
oh, that's a bit below the belt, that one.
Dig.
Julia is
But
Madeline.
yeah. Yeah. Right, shall we get on with this bloody video?
Yeah, I think we probably should.
All 17 minutes in and we're ready. And here we are, 46 minutes.
Not bad.
That's good. That's classic.
So
Yeah.
you'll be delighted to see these 2 fine, young, upstanding, fully British citizens speaking about the wonderful history of our country.
And let me know if you can't hear it. 'Cause I've had it up that long. I'll probably have to take it down, put it back up because I opened up another window and it probably cut the sound off. So let me know if you can hear it. Ready?
Obviously, it's not exactly.
Can hear it actually.
That's because I put Gandalf with an R after it. Right, here we go, ladies and gents. We're on it. Let's see how long we can go before Jake says, "Oh, stop it there, actually, please."
I don't say
Not
it in
me.
that voice though, do I? I don't. I'm not Larry Grayson.
No, you're like, yeah, well, can you stop that there, please, wizard?
Shut
Thank you.
the fucker off, will ya?
Turn that the fuck off now. I want to say something.
Right, I'm going to try it like that later.
That's my impression of Slim if he was here doing it. No, not really. Right, here we go, ladies and gents. Here we go. Let's stop being silly. Yeah, at least the buffering stopped. Yeah, that's good. Free plasticine. That's hilarious. Right.
To say that it's just about the pigment, but I'm saying normally, for example, if it's being from conflicts, like you know what I mean, in eastern areas, it's a different part. If you're white, you're likely to get them.
No, that's actually not true. The majority of people that come in are from Eritrea, Sudan, Afghanistan, and then you have Ukraine. So Ukraine is actually 4th and 5th on the list. So I'm not really sure what supremacy you're talking about if most of the people coming here are from Africa and the Middle East.
What I'm trying to say is that, for example, like I've seen it myself. For example, with immigrants getting treated literally horribly, and obviously there's.
Can you name an example of how they were treated horribly?
Okay. So for example, do you know like the immigrant? No. So do you know like the police, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of cases where police treat immigrants differently compared to normal people. Not exactly examples, but there's
good. Okay.
Like for example,
if you had an example, because that doesn't really sound believable to me.
Like arresting rates.
Okay, it doesn't sound believable to me unless you have the statistics. But from my statistics, more white men have been arrested for simply just tweeting, and that sounds very racist to me towards the white men.
Did you spot what she was doing?
Well, asking for evidence.
Exactly. She was asking for a specific example. And then, even better, she said that she didn't find that example believable, and so has asked for another example, which I think is a really, really good way to try to dismantle or understand better somebody's argument. Because quite often what people do is they make these great big broad sweeping statements, and they think that it makes them sound really, really clever, but yet they haven't actually given an example of what they mean by that. So you could have somebody talk about two-tier policing, but without giving examples of it, you're just making a general statement.
Yeah, which is just silly if you're in a conversation like this knowing full well it's going to be a debate or whatever. I mean, what's the point of stepping to a mic when you think to yourself, I haven't got any evidence? Or on your mobile, just load up a few sources. Right, if she asks, at least I've got that.
Yeah. Well, I think it just also shows a lack of discipline that people have in that they think they can just make a comment like that without having to justify it with any evidence, when unfortunately that is how we verify things in talks such as this. Now, this is slightly different because although it is formal in the regard of they're taking turns, it's not a formal debate, so neither of them have time to prepare for it. So the burden of proof is lower than it would be, say, at the Oxford Union, obviously.
Yeah.
But still, you would expect somebody, if they're going to make a point, to be able to have something that they can reinforce that point with. Otherwise, the point is just an opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Rich marks. I'm saying percentage-wise. I'm not saying direct population. I'm saying percentage-wise.
Have you ever considered that maybe the migrants are being arrested because they're committing crime?
Yeah.
For example, Afghanistani men make up the majority of men assaulting young girls. Have you ever considered that maybe that's why they're being arrested? Because they're assaulting young girls?
But at the same time, white people do that at the same time.
Of course they do, because they are the majority.
Exactly. Yeah, and they are the majority, but percentage-wise, it is very close to the same. To be honest, and another thing, saying that a race is better than another one, I never personally agree with that.
That's what I'm saying. When you're saying that white privilege exists, what you're trying to say is a white woman is better than me. In what way?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't agree with white privilege. You're saying you're completely denying. You're saying white privilege does not exist at all.
I don't believe it exists. I don't believe anyone here that's white is better than me. I don't think I'm better than them.
I know you don't
believe that. An opportunity, honestly, I think it's because of merit. I think it's because they work hard, studied hard, and just put their full efforts into whatever it is they put their efforts into.
Brother, can you give me an example where you've been racially profiled?
I've never personally been racially profiled. I mean, I'm British citizen. Yeah.
To you. So you've never been racially profiled?
No.
Have you got friends who have been racially profiled? Do you think, have you ever met a black that was racist against a white?
Yes, before.
Have you ever been to Africa, like certain parts of Africa?
Like South Africa.
Yeah, it's with Arabs.
I mean,
Israelis as well, by the way. I've heard it all. water for ducks back.
Like, it's all true.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Like I'm saying, racism is everywhere. And
Stop this now. The moon's dying.
Wait, no, we've had a nice afternoon, mate. He's doing no. It's almost home time. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, like I know racism is everywhere, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, completely denying the fact that white privilege doesn't exist, that denies racism.
Okay, sorry. Does black privilege exist?
In some areas, yes.
Does
Like,
brown privilege exist?
in some areas, yes. It
depends on the Chinese mentioned. That's really useful. I'll come right back to that point. Hold that thought.
What I'm trying to explain, every time.
Gentlemen, right now, I can accuse you of being racist because you're talking over the minority. Oh wow! Where's that virtue? I got a black son. So what? I don't care if you've got a black son. Why are you so angry that you've got a black kid? Shouldn't you be embracing that? Why do you hate black people?
Play that sound, darling. Play that.
Please. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Again, I'm trying to say.
Yes. Well, look at the state of that. Typical left-wing do-gooder.
I'm embarrassed if that was my nan.
Yeah, too right. Yes, I agree with Jennifer there. I think that she, like I said, I've been more impressed with her over the last few weeks. I used to think she was a bit thick, but actually I'm not so sure that she is now, and I've got a lot more time for her. And she is very patriotic, and at the same time, she's also very, very clear and honest about her own roots, and she doesn't try and pretend that she's British. She very much is somebody that appreciates being in Britain, and her big thing is that everyone who is here is a guest and they should behave like a guest. Yeah, she is a breath of fresh air. I've got a lot of time for her.
You know, someone's switched on when they're that intelligent, and as a young black lady, she turns around and says, white privilege doesn't even exist. So you know she's educated and talking from education, not just, oh yeah, there is, and it's because of this and all that. Do you know what I mean? Like they love to do, because Black Lives Matter and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's also smart enough to recognise the fact that being on the right side of politics and being black is very much something that plays into her favour, and that she's very much a niche in that regard. And she knows and plays up to brilliantly as well, speaking to left-wingers and then throwing racism back in their face when they try and criticise her and use their own language against them, which I think is fantastic, which is what Nick was doing here when he was asking about, is there black privilege, is there brown privilege? Because you only ever hear about white privilege. You only ever hear about white people being racist. But yet if you were to look at the data, you would see, this is to use the logic of the left again, if you look in terms of numbers, the majority of racial cases or incidents of racism are against white people. But you don't ever hear that statistic mentioned. Now, obviously, per capita it isn't going to be, but in terms of numbers, it is. And I think that's something that people should be more aware of. And I think this idea of racial profiling that he's talking about there, then I think they need to look a bit closer to home. Why are black people getting arrested more than white people do? Could it be linked, for example, to prison statistics, to criminal statistics? Or is it the fact that they're just simply afraid of saying that we know that community commits more crime, therefore they get more heavily policed?
And the gangster rap and the gang culture, and you know what I mean? There's so much there, but don't mention that, mate. You'd be racist. But this fact is there. And, if you're like a 14, 15-year-old and your mum's struggling, like your dad's not about or whatever, then what do you do to, I want to feel like a man and I want to feel like I'm a part of something. And you end up looking in the wrong places. And sadly, you end up finding something. And then you become that culture. So,
and if you're 14, 15, like you say, and you're earning 10k a week,
yep,
you're not going to turn that down, are you?
Yes, exactly. It is. I mean, it's a shame, really. But any child can get pulled into the wrong lifestyle. I get that, but it just seems very one-sided when it does come to gang culture, because like without like even looking into anything or whatever, you can see on the streets, like I've seen it, or I used to be out knocking doors or whatever, down the local shop, there's about 9 black boys all together, all, their pants down their arse and the hoodies and all that. And you're like, what is going on here? And it just seems to be, for some of them, their way of life. But then they trying to make out now that they're the victims. You're like, hang on, you're the one. You're actually finding people and making them victims because you're out robbing them and nicking mobiles and stabbing and God knows what. Oh,
You're
no, you
right.
can't say that. That's racist.
And I have to agree with what Gary has said in the chat as well, that about living below the poverty line. I have for most of my life. I'm not somebody that has been out committing crimes. I have a clean record and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous, and the left use it constantly as an excuse for things. So all of this crime is obviously the result of poverty. I don't think it is the result of poverty. Why don't you look at what the problem really is, which is culture? There's a specific culture that affects young black men up to about the age of 25. And it's in every city in the country. We've got the same problem, but different with the Asian gangs, where you've got more of the human trafficking element involved. And then obviously the Pakistani gangs, we won't mention them. But you're right, that's what they should be looking at. But all you hear from the government, it is the government, I suppose, is the left, is that it's all about poverty. We must end poverty. Well, what have they actually done to end poverty and lift people out of poverty? Oh, they gave them free breakfast. That's really going to help. How about getting these people out so that they can actually get a job?
Yeah. But
Because
as they seem to have a mindset, they don't want the job, do they?
Well, I think that it's bullshit that people here are saying that there are white people don't want to work. I don't agree with that. I think that they do want to work. I think that a lot of young people would genuinely like to go out and earn some money so that they could go and use it. But the trouble is they can't do it because the migrants have taken the jobs that teenagers would do, like working as delivery drivers, for example, or delivering takeaways, working in supermarkets, car washes. They're all done by migrants instead of young people who should be the ones earning.
Yep, definitely.
But the problem is that these people will work for less.
Yeah. But then, like, we can come up with the answers. How come the government and lefties can't?
Yeah, right.
It's crazy. Because they don't want to face the real facts.
No, like Slim has put, we're not getting the creme de la creme from Africa. Not that
Here we are. We're getting doctors, nurses, engineers, former police officers. What are you on about?
We are, but how many of those qualifications are actually genuine? I mean, they might be okay in the Congo.
I'm sure they accidentally, it's a rough dinghy ride. I expect they unfortunately lost their paperwork and credentials over the side of the dinghy accidentally.
Yeah, that's
not their fault.
Yes, they were a surgeon back in Timbuktu.
Oh, makes you laugh.
But that is a fair point as well. That yes, there are some places where there aren't jobs. That is very true. So certainly, like where I lived in Medway, there were lots of issues with unemployment there. There weren't jobs, but it depends where you are. I mean, certainly here there is work for people.
Yeah, I think the only surgeons we get are the ones that break into people's houses at like 1 a.m. in the morning and start operating on them while they're asleep. Just saying.
Yeah. Or 60,000 turn up in the middle of the night like they did in Spain.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the most things I think we've seen in years. That to me, that was an act of war.
Yeah, there's definitely more to that because Morocco, isn't it? It's not actually Spain. It's Morocco, but Spain has got the bit there, which they've had since like 1456 or something. There's another little bit here, and it seems a bit as if Morocco are like, oh, should we like try and get this back now?
And yeah, and they bloody swam. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And what kind of moron is going to believe what the mainstream media said? 60,000 came in, but 48,000 went back the same day. Of course they did. Yeah, 40
right.
did they? What I don't understand is this is quite clearly an invading force that is being sent in of young men. There's no women, there's no children there. All that is happening at the moment is those people are just getting into position and being stationed. All it's going to take is for the order to come through, and you will have another October the 7th, either here or in Spain or in Germany or somewhere, or maybe even all of them at the same time. That's what's going to happen. And the government knows that this is going to happen, and they're shitting themselves because people like in Thetford are now starting to come out and go against them because they're terrified that everyone here will suddenly go out on the streets and start taking these people on. And if they don't deal with the problem, that's what's going to happen.
Yep. Right, I don't.
And it, like I say, it depends where you are in the country, how much it affects you, and what that is going to be like for you in your particular area. So for me, at the moment, it's not a problem because it's 99% white. Phil, on the other hand, lives in Birmingham. It's completely different. It literally is like a different country.
Yeah, right, I don't.
Gary, no,
Well,
I'm not. I'm not a Norfolk boy either. No, I'm from Suffolk, Waveney Valley. So it's good to have Gary here then, a good local boy.
I was going to say something. I went blank. Right, anyway, where were we? Right, Nick Tenconi. Hopefully it go back to base to Bougie.
What I'm trying to say is that privilege exists everywhere, especially in certain places. For example, if you're in China, you'll be treated differently if you're black.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not
Muslim.
Yeah, or Muslim. It can be anything.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
White privilege does exist.
Yeah.
I don't think it. What I'm saying is, I believe it is wrong to say that white privilege doesn't exist, where it does exist in many ways. Maybe not by the big governments, but for example, by police officers, by more things. Yeah.
Talking about things like discrimination, bias.
Yeah, bias. Yeah, like all of that. Seriously.
But so we're clear, going back to disagree, agree solutions, you acknowledge that black privilege and black bias.
Yes. Yeah.
Muhammad Ali, famous the Black Panthers. We all know what time it is with Martin Luther, right?
Yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah.
I'm not falling for that. That was it Marxism? Can I say that? I don't know. It's kind of there, isn't it? The black nationalist movement. And do you know what I go bring it on, bro. Like, I'm not for the white power stuff.
No, exactly.
There's a very Mickey Mouse point in history where people will still refer to 3 letters and a particular organisation that was funded largely by the Democrats, which is so awkward for left wingers. But that's really it. There's nothing else. Conservatives, you sound conservative, and thanks be to God if I'm right. Conservatives don't care about skin colour. We care about merit. We care about merit, and we care about blood, sweat, and tears.
But I care about equality. Like, the thing is, again, saying that white privilege doesn't exist, it's a contradiction completely.
Yeah, but you keep saying white privilege exists, but you also said you haven't experienced racism, and you also can't. That's one event where white privilege existed. I named a statistic about migrants being arrested more than. Like, you can't name an actual situation.
I'm saying in the modern society it doesn't happen a lot, but it doesn't mean it never existed and it doesn't exist. It still exists nowadays.
Name a scenario, name a place that it's happening.
There are so many scenarios.
Name one, if there's so many.
You know, I can't name one just off the top of my head.
You sound very confident. I mean, if someone was to tell me that Islamic extremism exists, I would name one scenario where it existed, which is 7/11. Southport, the Ariana Grande concert. Name one white supremacist white privilege event.
Okay, for example, when these riots happen about immigrants getting out of our country, I don't believe in that.
Riots happen because of immigrants getting out of the country.
No. I'm saying riots happen because people want immigrants out of the country.
If you're talking about what happened last year, they rioted because 3 babies were massacred by Islamists. It had nothing to do with racism. 3 babies were massacred by Islamists. It has nothing to do with race.
Okay.
Yeah. No, take your time.
I will. Take your time. But also, guys, like, if by a quick show of hands, obviously the commies, like whatever, but a quick show of hands, is there a difference between illegal immigration and immigration? Yes, raise your hand. Right, the riots, dude. Okay, first of all, have you ever seen a riot? Yeah, they're not fun. It wasn't a riot, dude. It was a protest of 60-year-olds. And yeah, some of the hoodlums set the wheelie bins on fire. Dude, that was over illegal immigration. It wasn't over immigration.
No, I'm saying I do agree with legal immigration in some ways because, again, some people don't have the privilege to do that. Some people don't have the money to do it because immigration costs money to get them. It costs money to get a visa. It costs money for all of this. And now people who are trying to escape from conflicts, seriously.
Bro, we've got to agree to disagree. So Wayne Broadhurst in Uxbridge last year, the Iraqi that came over on the boat, on the bus, on the lorry, drilled him with a knife. He should never have been here. He was illegal.
Exactly.
Thomas Roberts, Bournemouth, 2022, outside Subway, 309. Marine, 21-year-old Thomas Roberts, an Iraqi who was already convicted of murder with a knife.
But not all the legal immigrants are bad. Some people are just trying to get out of the situation.
No. I understand that. So how much blood? Can you give it to me in terms of... Can you give...
What crap is this bloke talking?
I know.
It's just, like Nick Tanconi, he's asking all the right questions, and he actually got a bit of knowledge there, didn't he? He remembering names and that, and like give it to him,
Yeah.
and he's just like,
That's exactly what I mean.
painful.
You push back against people, and you ask them for a specific example. Very rarely do they do it. There's some fool on Dan Wootton's chat who keeps saying that white people don't exist. There's no genetic marker that shows the difference between brown and white. And so I said, oh no, that's not how genetic works. There's not a single gene that shows between the two. That is what you would call a straw man argument. But yet people don't listen to reason. And so this person said to me, okay, prove it. So I sent 10 different studies. This person hasn't produced one. And that's the difference between people that are sincere when they debate and people who aren't. This person has learned a load of catchphrases and sound bites from probably left-wing institutions or university, or maybe even just the peer group he's in or the social media he uses.
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah. And he's been indoctrinated into that way of thinking. And we know it's indoctrination because we've heard the exact same phrases and words used by everyone who's on that side.
Yep.
In terms of gallons, how much blood needs to be spilled before you stand up tall and go, illegal immigration has to be zero tolerance policy?
No blood should spill.
Loads of blood should spill.
I'm saying hypothetically, no blood should spill. I'm saying
real ones, though.
I'm saying the government should have better ways to towards immigration. Immigration right now, in a lot of ways, it costs money to get there. It costs money to get in the situation, and some people just don't have that money.
So I'm confused what you're saying. So you can ignore the murder and rape stats, what you like. Rhiannon Sky White, 2024, illegal, 18 through the skull with a screwdriver. I met Deborah, Rhiannon's mother. She left behind a little 9-year-old boy. How much blood needs to be spilled before you say?
I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that.
Give it to me again. How much blood? Enough.
I'm not saying blood needs to be spilled. I'm saying the government needs to change the immigration rules.
If blood is being spilled, blood has been spilled.
Anyway.
How? If they weren't here, if we had border control, then the blood wouldn't be spilled. They'd still be alive.
Of course, crimes happen every day, and yes, right, because they were legally here. Yes, they did cause those crimes. They can't be like they don't have documents in. But I'm saying
They've never been here with them.
I know. I know. Also, what I'm saying is they need to change the rules for immigration because obviously that should happen because stuff like that never happens. Like, just see if they stuff in.
Yeah, I'm going to fucking talk now about what we want to say. No, I'm joking. It's just that we said that earlier. Where he gets this idea from that people who live in a different country have the right to just turn up here and not have to pay for it. And he's moaning that they have to pay to make their journey here, they have to get this, that and the other. Of course you do. You don't just turn up to someone's house and walk in and help yourself, do you? I couldn't get on a boat, turn up in New York and announce myself as an asylum seeker. It doesn't work that way. What he doesn't understand is there are legal processes in place, and the reason these people don't use them is because they haven't got a chance in hell of ever getting in. So what they do instead is they pay money to traffickers who take hold of their passport and keep them hostage by it, and then they have to work off the debt that they've paid that keeps accruing over time. So it's a racket in that way. What should happen is, and I'm sure many people have seen the videos from this week of the cops in France just watching as boats go into the sea. Why can't they, as they're casting off into the sea, go over to that boat and just get a knife out and slit the side of it? Because nobody's going to die, and it's going to stop that boat from going. And we're paying millions of to stop these boats. I don't understand why they can't do that. It's not our health and safety risk, and it's not acceptable. And the way that he's thinking is completely wrong. The way that, this is my opinion, of course, people may disagree, but as far as I'm concerned, and I think this is what Based and Bougie is saying as well, is that the reason that you have immigration is to bring in people that where you've got a surplus or where you've got a need for in a particular area, not a surplus, you've got a need for, a demand for it. So if you haven't got enough surgeons, then if you can get some from abroad, then that's great. But better still, which is what we're not doing, why don't you train people in this country to be surgeons so you don't end up with that deficit in the first place? So there's a massive problem we've got. And Slim mentioned earlier, and I absolutely agree with him, that we need to reindustrialize. That's one of the biggest problems we've got. We should be in a position where we are energy independent. And if we can't do that, then we're failing as a nation. We should also be investing in our military, because after seeing what happened in Spain and seeing these boats coming in every single day, I do not like the prospect of having 50, 60,000 Moroccans turn up here. Don't forget, these people are the ancestors of the Barbary pirates. They're the same ethnicity, the same people. They haven't changed.
Nuts. But no, turn a blind eye.
Yes.
Right. Let's see then. Let's see if Tinconi actually gives the microphone back to Based and Bougie.
Wherever they came from.
Yeah, basic checks. So what you're saying is the government needs to legalise open borders, then that would remove illegal immigration.
But give open back.
Give what?
But get it back. For example, again, it's a whole system, and it takes years and years. And the amount of people that died in Iraq because they couldn't because of the situation there, because where they are, because how much money they have.
So I'm going to pass over. There's so much to unpack there, and you're saying things like the amount of men who died in Iraq because they couldn't get out fast enough, and we're essentially responsible for not accepting them fast enough. Meanwhile, I ask you, how many rapes is enough? You don't answer. I ask
How many rapes is enough?
I ask how many gallons of blood. You don't answer. So you've got to go away, and I hope that's convinced a few people. You've got to decide. Either we have border control, or we don't.
Border control should happen, that should be changed.
Yeah, but I understand how.
Again, it's a very lengthy process, and obviously it makes sense for it to be a lengthy process. But I'm saying it needs to be shortened, because again, this country is.
So it doesn't matter how many people are killed or raped.
So different, but
Why don't you want to, just out of curiosity, why don't you want to address that one point where we give them the sanctity of life? Rhiannon Sky White, Wayne Broadhurst, Thomas Roberts. The list there's a really long list of people, right?
And that's a problem.
Natalie shot or orally raped to death by someone who frankly should never have been here.
That should have never happened. What I'm saying is that we just need to change the border laws. I was wrong to say that we should just let everyone come in, because again, some of them could do bad stuff in the other place that they're in, and then when they come here, they cause havoc. But a lot of the background of society is how violent immigrants, even some illegal immigrants, they hold down some jobs that's some persons don't have. And they don't take the job. Yeah, they're good at doing it.
It sounds like before I hand over, your verdict is women can be raped, men.
No.
Okay. Did you notice how he backed off there? Because Nick gave him examples. Example after example after example. And each time he then added the emotional aspect of, do you think this should happen? Or mentioning the mother or the family. It was a really, really good way of getting his point across, because that guy then backed down and started to actually not necessarily completely retreat, but you could see that there was an element of him where he was rethinking his position and adjusting what he was saying in response to that. And the question, I think, is a really, really good one. How much bloodshed are you willing to put up with? And I think that's a great question, because at what point are these people going to realise what is happening in this country? When we're seeing virtually every single day there's an attack, a violent attack, a sexual assault, a rape, a murder, every single day. And yet we're being told that that isn't a problem. What is it going to take for people to say, actually, no, this is a problem, and we need to sort it out. We need to get rid of these people. And we need to get rid of them urgently. And because that was what, if I were in charge, I would declare a national emergency. I would have an ICE-style agency and the army round them up and send them back. Of course, we don't have a bloody army, though. And I don't understand why Border Force can't get together a patrol of drones. They should be able to have something up in the skies 24 hours a day monitoring that coastline with various different sensors and radar and infrared and everything they've got. They should know where everyone is. They should be able to turn them around as soon as they get into British waters, get them back to France, and then slit the boats once they get into the shore. And I don't understand why they can't do that. The only thing that makes sense is that there is no will for them to do that. There must be some form of benefit.
Yeah.
But well done to Nick there, because I think it really goes to show that when you're having a discussion with somebody, if you come in prepared and you can give examples, then it's not always confrontational. Here, I think it's had a very positive effect on this young man, and I think it made him rethink his position. Now, whether that's going to be enough to change his mind is a different matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see that. So, some people like to just keep arguing a point even when they've been proven wrong. They just don't get it.
Yeah, you can. If certain people are so wrapped up in their belief system that you can present them with as much counter evidence as you like, and it just will not change their mind. And with this situation, I just don't understand what it's going to take to make them see things differently. They literally have a different way of thinking about the world. And so for us, we try and understand it. We can't communicate with them, because if we're talking about the same thing, but we're talking past each other because the way we interpret it is completely different from one another. Like this guy here said he believes in equality. Okay, well, I believe that everybody is equal under the law. Yes, that's true. But do I believe that people are equal across the world? No, I don't. Of course I don't. Do I think that somebody from Britain is worth more than somebody from Sudan or Yemen? Then yes, I do. And I don't care if people think that is racist. As far as I'm concerned, I have got far more trust and far more faith in somebody who would come from Britain than I would from someone who comes from Sudan or Yemen. Now, there may well be people who come from Yemen or Sudan who are very good people, who are very hard-working, and who could make a good contribution if they assimilated. Nobody's denying that. But the fact is they're coming here illegally. And that word should count for something. You shouldn't just be able to turn up here and demand a job and demand anything. This is the biggest problem that we have faced since World War II, and the fact that they are just going into it and so blindly and so stupidly and just appeasing this, it worries me greatly. Oh, thanks, Rupert. Yeah, exactly. Gives, and somebody mentioned earlier on how it's just going to end up in bankruptcy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's through that particular lens, that particular framework. Yes, Gary. And what they can't do, which I think people on the right are able to do, is we can take a lens and we can look at it in a right way, we can look at it through a left way, we could look at it through an Islamic way, because we've got the critical thinking skills to be able to separate different ways of thinking. Those people can only see things in one way, and anything that isn't their way is completely wrong, and those people deserve to be not only punished but treated violently, as we've seen recently with Anne Widdecombe.
Yep.
They genuinely believe that people should be harmed if they're not of the same belief system. We've never had that in this country before. We never had the problems with gang rapes in this country until the late 1990s. Well, I know that there were some instances that went back further, but they were more isolated. We didn't have the problem of gangs on the streets knifing each other to death in this country in the decade in which I was born. So the biggest question that should be asked here is not so much about migrants coming in and being allowed to come in. The question that I would ask that doesn't get asked is, name benefits that they have brought to this country. And all you'll ever get as a response is, oh, food, we've got different foods. We get to experience different cultures. Well, I don't want to experience different cultures. If I want to eat different foods, then that's my choice. I don't want to have it foisted upon me because I'm a very fussy eater. And we should have the right to say who comes into this country, because it's our country. Like I've said before, my family have lived here for longer than the USA has been a country. So as far as I'm concerned, I have a claim ancestrally to this land. It is not for people who look like that young man there. It's not for people who have the attitude that that young man has there. It does, however, allow for people like Sintish, or Based on Bogey, if you want to call her that. She would be very welcome here. In fact, it would be a delight to have somebody like that come to East Anglia and see what England can really be like, because she's probably only ever seen London. But this guy, although he's more moderate than a lot of them, this guy, and that mindset, no, thank you. We need to get rid of that. That is the cancer that is eating away at our society, and Islam, unfortunately, is one of the symptoms of that cancer.
Yep, agreed.
That is just my opinion, of course. I'm not saying that is what's happening.
But it is.
It is, yeah. But so, do you want your street turned into a load of foreigners?
Already has, mate.
Because some people say it wouldn't bother them.
My street already is, but I don't even talk to the neighbours, so everyone lives and let lives.
Yeah, I mean, where I used to live, everyone knows everyone. Here, you know everyone by face, but you don't talk as much to people here because this place is twice as big. But yes, I would recognise the people here. There's no one foreign in this particular street. Now, that's again not to say that I'm suspicious of people. Where I lived before, there was an Indian family lived in the street there. They were the only ones because I lived in the ghetto. So obviously, so I have to deal with all the ethnics. That one family that were there, no, they're great people. I had no problem with them. They were lovely, very polite. They'd always say hello. They kept their garden tidy, They kept the house tidy. It didn't cause any bother. That's exactly what we want. What we don't want is bloody Muslims coming here and telling us, you have to do this, and you have to do that, and our Allah says it's like this. Well, fuck him. It's nothing to do with this country. get out. Go to one of the 50-odd Muslim countries, because if we don't start saying no to these people, what they're going to do is get more and more power. And if they're causing this much of a problem with 6% of them, imagine what it'll be like when they're 15, 20%. And they are starting to work their way into our local councils. Even my hometown, where there is only one Muslim family, have got a Muslim councillor. And if it weren't for the fact that I've moved, I would have stood for the council just to oppose him. But it's not my constituency anymore. And I genuinely would have done that as well, because I think it's absolutely appalling. What right does he have to stand for my local council with all of the history that's there, dating back to at least the Saxons, as we've got the Saxon church in the town. So there's over 1,000 years of history there. I am not having a Muslim take any part of the leadership or stewardship of my history, culture and tradition.
This is a fair comment.
And people say, yes, but we mustn't discriminate. No, I think we should discriminate. I think the problem is that we've just appeased people too long. What we need to do is put our foot down and say to them, no, you're taking the piss, now fuck off. Because that's what you'd say on the doors, isn't it?
Yep, basically.
You're not coming in, do one.
Is it me, right? Or when I press pause to do, like, Mr. Gymshark is actually sort of doing his bit to sing a song for BGT. It's like he's just singing, isn't it? Like, oh.
It could well be.
And Nick Tincone's just about to put that hand up to his head, and he's like, "Oh my god, mate, you can't sing."
Well, that's true. I think that we have to start fighting back against this. I don't mean going out on the streets armed with pitchforks and axes and all that. Not yet, anyway. Or baseball bats wrapped in barbed wire. Save that. It's not the time for that. Fighting back means going and doing your bit. Like I said, if you've got someone in your council who is a Muslim, go in and oppose them. Don't let them get away with anything in your local area. If you find that there are plans to build a mosque in your local area, write a letter to the council and complain about it. Do anything you can you're not going to get it stopped, but do anything you can to get it delayed. So if you find they're building a mosque, write to the council, tell them there's some rare bat that lives in that building and so they can't use it. Use whatever shithouse tactics you can to force them out without violence. That is how you defeat them. Because if you think about, and this is the way I'm beginning to think here, in the past, warfare had two opposing armies on a field facing off and smash the shit out of each other, and one side would end up with more men and would win. But warfare isn't like that anymore. And I seriously think that what we saw in Spain was an act of war. And I think that these boat crossings are an act of war, and it needs to be treated as one. And the fact that it isn't is one of the biggest, most traitorous scandals I think we've ever seen. And everybody who's responsible for that should be hanged. In my opinion.
Yep.
What do you mean afford it, Slim? Just go and nick it. I mean, borrow it. Borrow it from somebody who's got a surplus of it, like a farmer.
Women can be raped, men can be killed, but it's all right because our economy's propped up by illegals.
No, that is not what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying.
Okay, so you didn't say that.
No, I literally just addressed the murder. I just addressed the murder.
I'm trying to get across the point. You're not willing to take it. The murder and the rape is happening. So I'll hand over. You have to reconcile. You and everyone else has to reconcile.
So basically, from what I can hear you're saying, is you're saying that we should change our immigration laws so more immigrants can come safely. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that we have a housing crisis?
Yes, I know we have a housing crisis.
So why would you want millions of people to come when we have a housing crisis? Are you aware that the UAE doesn't have a housing crisis?
Yes, I know.
And are you aware that most of the immigrants that are coming here from Eritrea are from Sudan, and they're also from Afghanistan, and they're also from Palestine? They have neighboring countries that can take care of them, but they're refusing to. Not only that, how on earth are they making that long and hard journey from Eritrea all the way up to Europe, all the way up to the UK? You can't tell me that it's just an accident. That is something that is happening by design. So to answer your question, you're saying that we should allow more migration, but in a safely. That's also admitting that we have a housing crisis. How does that make sense? To import more people and we have a literal housing crisis. Don't you want us to have a house?
The thing is, I understand where you're coming from right now. What I'm trying to say is that, yes, we do have a housing crisis, but we're not at war. We're not struggling for our lives in the
So is the
city.
UAE, so is Egypt, so is Turkey. Why is Europe the only country people wants to house all of these people? I'm not being funny. I'm not actually experiencing war. There's no war in Eritrea, by the way. How is it fair that somebody
got a 6 hour search.
comes to the UK and takes a house from somebody who is born here, whether it's African or Asian or Indian, they were born here, they can't get a house, but Eritrean who's not experiencing the war needs a house and universal credit. Do you think that's fair?
I personally talk about European countries. I'm not talking about the countries that are, for example, in economic crisis.
To go back in terms of war and how we are a safe country, why aren't the safe neighboring countries like the UAE, like Egypt, like all these other Turkey, for example, why are they not taking it? And these countries are 10 times bigger than the UK. How are they making that journey? Have you ever considered that?
It's because they're refusing them. And I'm not saying what they're doing is right, but I'm saying us refusing them.
So if I was you, rather than saying that we should change our we should put pressure to change our immigration laws to make it safer, we should actually put pressure on those countries to allow them in. Because if anything, they could assimilate better anyways. They're Muslim, they're conservative, they have the same culture. They don't really share the same cultures as the UK. So I think what you should do is twist your argument and say rather than us putting pressure, the neighboring countries that are bigger, more prosperous, our countries in there should take them in. Don't you think that would be more sensible?
Yes, it will be the sensible, but that's not how the world works.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The world should work.
So I think that the nature of what I'm going to take from this is the fact that we can't agree on anything, despite the fact that you also seem very reasonable, and hopefully I come across as reasonable.
Just saying, I'm not saying that I can disagree with you.
Sure, I don't think you do. I think we're agreeing on a lot, but there's still such a divide. The fact that we can't agree on border control, sovereignty, defence spend, that type of thing. The fact that we can't agree on that is just it's just this. I think it's just this left-wing Marxist indoctrination whereby they weaponise based on religion, skin colour, sexuality. That's a big one for them, and they and minorities. And they say you're a minority and you deserve better. A white man's bad, and then they link it something.
I don't believe any of that.
I'm not saying you do, but in the fact that we can't agree, because again,
I can't agree because I don't agree with your main philosophy. No,
it's not a philosophy. I know all the murders and I know all the rapes, and I'm saying we must close the. I'm saying that's nuts. Does that make sense? I'm saying we can stop that. Does that make sense?
Exactly. For example, the amount of immigrant girls that have been raped by white men from this country, like it can go back and forth.
I thought there was a difference between homegrown problems and imported problems. Would you be comfortable with us importing Nazis? Right. Would you be comfortable with us importing terrorists?
I never said that.
How about I know. How about murderers or rapists?
No.
So you have homegrown problems and you have imported problems. Why would you ever import problems?
I'm not saying imported problems. I'm saying they still happen because these immigrant girls don't have the right safety.
Dude, it's just so discombobulating. You have homegrown problems and imported problems. Why would you ever import terrorists?
You would never import terrorists. I'm saying that project doesn't happen. I'm saying we should let all of them in because obviously putting pressure on the other countries because they won't let them in because that's how their country is and it will cause more conflict, I promise you.
I'm just going to hand over for the last bit, and then we're going to have to wrap up,
We
unfortunately.
pause before Base and Bogey comes back in. What do you think of this young man then, Wiz? Do you get where he's coming
If that's
from?
our future, we're screwed. No, I don't get where he's come from. He's talking nonsense.
What bits don't you get about what he's saying? Or what's hard?
Just talking about the fact that, like, what Nick Tanconi said there, like, why would you import more, like, say, rapists and murderers when we got our own ones? And he's sort of making out like, oh yeah, but we make it all like more legal and safer for them to come into our country. What? You completely and utterly missed the whole point, mate. It's the type of people coming into this country. They literally are the opposite to what we are. Yeah, but that's fine. But if they come in legally, it's good.
Is he saying, though, that if they put the right things in place and put the right checks in place, that's how migration should be? Is that the point that he's trying to make here, do you think?
Maybe in a twisted kind of way. He's sort of getting there, but that's still not going to solve the problem, is it? Because don't forget, oh yes, I've lost all my paperwork and my mobile phone, Your Honour. I'm 16, not 24. What you want about, Your Honour?
I think you're absolutely right there. And I think what Nick did was really good, the way that they said, you know, they're not going to agree, but they've spoken to each other respectfully. I think that that's fair enough. But I do think that they're talking past each other because they're not really listening and they're speaking in a different language. Because if you do take what he was saying, like we just did, what he's really saying is put these right checks in place and it might make migration better. But what Nick Tanconi's hearing, Based and Bogey's hearing, and all of us are hearing is no, he wants loads more migrants to come in. And I'm not sure that he actually is saying that. But that's how it's being taken.
But it's, to me, that he's coming across as if like, oh yeah, but, you know, nothing needs to change other than the fact that, you know, they just need to be, I don't know, vetted when they come in. Like, how can you vet them when they've got no paperwork? You don't know who they are, their history, their criminal history. Oh, it's all right. We've got this and that. And we've got facial recognition. What's that going to do? You've never seen the face before in your life, mate. How are you going to know that his name's Clive from Eritrea? You're not. You're not going to know.
What if they're wearing a burqa? You wouldn't know anything then.
No, you'd just be waiting, thinking, oh, can you hear that? Tick, 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 boom.
I've got a plan.
Shake the room, Will Smith.
I've got an idea. I got this idea from seeing someone on YouTube who went to one of these places. There are sea installations at various places around the country, these structures that were built to obviously to defend the country, but are now uninhabited. I mean, they're a bit worn down, you know, a bit rickety, but I think that they would be perfect to put in these people to house them. Forts. The old sea forts. They're not doing anything else. They're just sat there and they take a risk if it falls down or not. But I think that has got to be better than letting them come onto our shores, rape people and murder people and steal things from people. We do not want these people here. What don't they understand about that? And what is it going to take for government to actually listen to us? I actually think government is listening to us, and I think that the machinations of government are in progress. But I think because things happen really slowly and you don't always see it, that we're not seeing that actually happen. Don't get me wrong, it's not to do with Labour. This is all to do with the civil service. I think that they're realising that people have had enough of this woke shit and they've gone too far. And I think they're going to try and rein it in over the next few years. Because it cannot continue, because it is going to lead to the destruction of the country. Or the West, in fact. And one thing occurred to me when I was doing my research for my novel the other day, that what has happened here, this is exactly the sort of thing the Soviet Union wanted to happen to the West. That they introduce these different factions that stir up trouble, that divide the unity, divide the sense of freedoms that people have by restricting them. This was a perfect manifestation of what the Soviet Union called active measures. And we've seen the ex-KGB guy, I think his name was Brezhnev or something like that, who spoke precisely about how they wanted to do that sort of thing to us. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were an element of what's happening on that could be traced back to the Soviet Union during the Cold War. The perfect way to destroy us, bring Muslims here.
Strange, because
I haven't seen that.
It's going to be an issue with regards to Muslims when it's around 10-15%, because I don't know, like I can't cite any proper evidence, whatever, but I was watching someone and they were saying, and they had whatever, to back up what they were saying, because other countries, it might have been that Nick Mattow actually, but he's saying around when it hits 10-15%, like it really hits the fan and they start really forcing certain things. And I thought, blooming heck, we've gone from 6 to 6.7%. It's going up, but don't say a word, mate.
Cheers, Philip. You take care, my good man. Be safe in Birmingham. It's not a good place for you.
Yeah, take it easy, Phil. Stay safe, my friend. Get on that old forklift and do your thing.
I mean, if I saw the comment from that Olga had put in there about not knowing who to trust anymore, and I think that's a really good point, because if I were to look at what's on screen at the moment, if I were in a city and all I could see was the people there on the left, the only person I would trust out of that group is the woman at the back with the blonde hair. I'm not going to trust this bloke at the front because he doesn't look like me. The bloke in the Spanish shirt, he's obviously one of them, so I'm not going to trust him. The one in the middle looks a bit slitty-eyed, so I'm not trusting him. But the one at the back, why do I trust her? Because she looks English. Now, she might not be. She could be from Kazakhstan for all I know. But I think that it's really, really important that people need to understand that ancestry is not to do with race. It's an inherited cultural tradition that we need to keep hold of, or else we are going to lose it. Yeah, always trust the blondes. Especially if they've got very firm melons. It's a very, very... I think it's a unique time in history that I think people are going to look back at this and think, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Why didn't they do anything? It's getting to a point where even pensioners are talking about things that 10 years ago you would have said was the domain or the realm of the conspiracy theorist. And people are scared because they don't want that culture. They don't like that culture. People like things how they are, and they don't want to change in areas like where I live anyway. And tradition is really important. That's what conservatism is about. Tradition, meritocracy, the things that we need. Progressivism only ever seeks to destroy.
Yep. I opened up another window. That's why that disappeared.
Now, I know some people would think that's a bit racist, that you would only trust the white person, not the black person. But think about it contextually. I live somewhere that is 99% white. If I see someone walking around who is brown or black, the first thing that I think, or that anyone else around here thinks, is, who the fuck is that? What are they doing here? I know someone who called the police because they saw 4 black men in a van. They weren't doing anything, they were just in a van, but because this person didn't recognise them and thought, well, they're not from around here, they must be up to no good, you can see the mindset is really very different. if I lived in London, I wouldn't think like that at all, because I would be much more used to being around ethnically diverse people, but I'm not. Even as a teacher, there weren't very many ethnic minorities in Medway where I taught. They're very good for you, dictionaries, very good.
Yeah.
And if you can learn a new word every day, then you're doing a good thing.
Yep. Oh,
But
shit.
I really do think this is the most dangerous period that we've been in since the Second World War. And I think that the fact that we're not being told that it is, and we're being constantly lied to, is just in time it will be much clearer why this has all happened and everything like that, because it is a number of different factors. It's not just one little group that's behind everything. As I've said before, it's more like a web of various different strands. Why should I get out more? I don't want to see black and brown people. They don't enrich my life. I've read their literature as shit. I've read their poetry is crap. Their culture is shit. All black people are good for is entertainment and sport. And to prove that, look at their academic history. We've seen this week Professor, in inverted commas, Jason R. Day.
Yeah, that was classic. And he quit.
And he's quit.
Race
You know,
grifter.
he ran the whole circumference of the Earth in just 12 days. Did you know that?
He what?
Yeah, he ran the entire circumference of the world in 12 days. No, he didn't. I just made that up. But he did do something like 30 marathons in 34 days, didn't he? With 8 of them with a broken leg.
Yep. And he's part of the 7, where every 7
Yeah.
years they check in on you since
Yeah.
1964. And he was born in
So
87.
a professional snooker player at age 10.
No, what you're trying to say is at age 10 he was playing with his balls.
What I'd really like to know is, apart from how he managed to get away with all this, because we already know the answer to that, is why has he got such a shiny face?
He doesn't use the right products. Maybe one day I'll have one suitable for him on my website.
I think you need to get some toner.
Yeah.
Tone that down a bit. That's a good product for you. Get something to tone down shiny skin and fake tans. You'd be onto a winner then. What about rap music?
Yeah.
Well, it's missing a C at the beginning of it. Rap music was good,
Yeah.
I would say, in the late 80s and early 90s, when it was genuinely original and they were doing things that were interesting. But
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
shit.
after Cypress Hill and that, yeah, it went downhill.
Exactly. What do I think of Bass and Boogie? I like Bass and Boogie. Cintisha seems like a really nice, decent person. Her heart's in the right place. She tries to do the right thing. She obviously is a woman of God as well and believes in that too. And she just seems like somebody who I think is very good-natured, good-hearted, and also a bit
And we-
feisty, which I like.
And we call her Based and Bogey because she's our number 1 pick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I should have emailed her, asked her to come. He probably would have ignored us as well.
As long as she's not offended. Yeah, probably. But with regards to speaking to Bob at Speaks Corner,
Yeah.
he said yes, he would like to come on and discuss. And I've got to send him 3 dates, 1 date each month for the next 3 months. And he said hopefully one of them will be fine. So that will be absolutely fantastic.
That could be a good moment for the debut of the Triggered Christian. Because he's going to know more about the subject than me.
Yeah, but I'm probably not going to let anyone else up. I'm going to have Bob all to myself.
Yeah, don't blame you. I wouldn't know
It's
what
going
to
to be an
ask.
interesting chat.
Would I date Based and Bogey? Well, I think she's probably a bit too young for me. I mean, what is she, mid-20s?
No, I wouldn't. If you can ask me, it's not my type.
It's not really what I would normally go for, no, but she seems like a nice person, so why not?
I'd sit and talk to her, like said, oh yeah, I'll buy you dinner. Let's have a chat or whatever. Of course I would, but like date, no,
But
not
if
my
we're going to be
tea.
honest about things, which we are here, most white men don't find black women attractive, and they don't like to admit it, but it's true. We find white women more attractive because black women are much bigger. They don't have the facial makeup, isn't what we expect as a traditional sign of beauty. It's a different beauty than we're used to.
Yeah, but then Dina Asher Smith's rather nice.
Yeah, there's some absolutely lovely ones, but you think about it, you quite often see black men with white women. You don't often see white men with black women.
Yeah,
Which is a shame
true.
because I think they're good ones.
Yeah, I mean, see
And
all
in
that.
fact,
Like, I've never been one to see color. Like, if you're talking to someone and you hit it off, you hit it off. It's as simple as that. Like, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, oh no, because this or because of that. But I
no,
do have a reference.
no, exactly. I mean, an ex of mine was half black, half white. So, it's not something that would be unusual if I were to do that sort of thing. And for several years, as I've mentioned before, I was with someone from Italy, and that wasn't a problem for me. I mean, she was from northern
You know,
Italy, the
I'd
European one.
I used to play football and that. One of the players there and that he used to love the Chinese girls or Thai girls or whatever. That was
Yeah,
his thing. But
I yeah, that
that's
don't
never
do.
interested me.
No, never interested me.
You know,
I'm not interested in those sorts of women. But
but I,
there are good-looking women in all cultures. Let's be honest.
I managed to actually marry like my ideal because it was always tall and blonde, always. So I was lucky to marry tall and blonde. So that's a bit
You
of a bonus. Maybe that's why we got married.
were very lucky in doing that. Yes, very lucky.
So yeah, if you're asking why, he has to be tall. One, I'm six, near enough 6'6". Two, perfect height. That she's a bit shorter. Bang, like that. Nutter. And I
Yeah,
introduced her to his.
I wouldn't necessarily say I had a preference. To be perfectly honest, I think either you just know with someone, you can just tell. There's some sort of energy that exists between you when you talk to them. You can just tell that there is an attraction that might not necessarily be what you would physically expect, but there might be something else about them that makes them more attractive. There are people that I've been with who, if I were to just see them in the street, I would probably think, no, maybe not. But you spend more time with them, they grow on you. You realise what people are really like. It's not just about how people look.
Yeah.
I don't really
Yeah, but
care
like,
where someone's from, as long as they've got a good attitude.
exactly. Like that's exactly what Helen's saying. Like sometimes height making a difference. Some people like taller, shorter. Some like more muscular, knowing muscle doesn't stay around forever, so that's going to change one day. But and some people like men with a bit of a belly, like the dad bod, and some want them like this bloke with his
Yeah,
Gymshark and like a shirt a size too small to make him look big.
yeah, yeah. I don't have a particular type. No, I just like people with a brain.
Right.
That's probably my type. People who have got a brain and who are witty and who are kind and funny. They're the best people.
Yeah, makes sense. Well,
I think
Base and Boogie's getting her arm ache here, holding that arm up onto her head. Should we actually
be
listen
a
to what
bit
she's
like
going to say?
it'll be like my bloody knee that's still fucked.
Yeah, I've got a dodgy knee. It keeps waking me up at night and all. It's like, oh, I've got to move it. It feels weird. And then I've got to move a different position. And then it feels weird and aches. I've got to move. Oh, mate.
I think
That's
I've
probably
worked out
too much weightlifting.
I think what I did is sometimes when I'm asleep or waking up, I stretch my legs out and really extend the tendons in it and point my toes. And I think I probably did that and overstretched it.
Ooh, not good. Not good, please. Not good at all. No need for that.
I only have one criteria for my women. One thing. They must be extraordinary.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they probably need to be dead.
No. No.
They're not going to argue on nothing.
If somebody gave me the choice, though, do you want to have a white woman or a black woman? There's no way I would answer a black woman. Absolutely no way. Because there's far more chances of there being a white woman that I'd find more attractive and would get on better with. It's not that I dislike black women. They're just not my preferred choice.
Yeah.
As I've said, an ex of mine was half black, so...
Yeah, I forgot about that, mate. The comment out there. I didn't think there's any comments out there. Oh, well.
Yes, I would say, Rupert, I would agree. I find not all women attractive. Most women are attractive in some way. But then I find myself much more at ease around women than I do men. I don't like being around men.
Yep. Right, those gents, let's get on with base and bogey.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you were saying about home problems, we already have problems about home. We have British citizens, whether you're like an Indian or British citizens who are rapists who are terrorists. Why import them from regions where we know sexual assault rates were extremely high? For example, where my parents are from Congo, Congo has the highest sexual assault rates in the world. If someone was to come and tell me we should import them, I would say absolutely not. I don't care if I'm Congolese or black. Need to make sure that Britain is safe. So why should we have problems when we have problems about it's the same thing with the housing crisis. We admitted that we have a housing crisis while stating that we put more opinions, making it more difficult.
We're not a direct.
That's not our business. That's not our business. The war needs to the neighboring countries should sort that out. Why should we sort that out?
Because we're the only country that will. That's what I'm trying to explain. Because we are the only country that will. We should help them.
And what I'm trying to say is the pressure that you put on us to help them, I think the neighboring country should help them. Because you know what would happen? There'll be deaths. It's the journey would be 2 to 3 hours. And the journey to the UK is like, what, 2 days through the whatever ocean. It makes no sense. If you really cared about immigrants and their safety, you would be advocating for them to go to a place that's close to them, a place that's culturally more compatible with them, and a place that is religiously more compatible with them, and a place where there's actual space. It's not an argument about racism, white privilege. It's just about space. Sorry, it's about infrastructure. Our infrastructure is not moving at the same rate as the number of people coming in. And do you know what that's going to do? That's going to create a very, very detrimental, difficult life for your children. No, you want your children to have the safer life, to be able to afford a home.
Yes, of course I do. I'm saying right at this moment, there is many countries that will, and we're saying we shouldn't, because we have our own problems, we shouldn't pile it all on top of us.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
But at the same time, these countries will refuse them. And yes, I think we have tried blending.
Well, why should Britain be responsible for these issues? Why should Britain be responsible for the fact that there's a war in Somalia? Why should Britain be responsible for that? What do we have to do with the fact that Somalians are killing other people? Why? Why do we have to be responsible for that?
I'm gonna interject. It's so strange to me how even our closing, reopening, and then closing, we are still no further along. Your position is that Britain should house the world.
I'm not saying this. Okay,
I do. I'm calling it out now. Every time I give you the truth bombs, you go, dude, I'm not saying that. You're literally saying
it goes vice versa. And you're saying because we're importing it.
Britain can't. I'll try once more.
Yeah.
The notion of incorporating terrorists, murderers, and rapists into a country is nuts.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Then let's take that as a win, dude. And as for you saying that white people kill, that's called homegrown problems. Guess what? Black people who were born here kill. Asian people that were born here kill.
Talking about the immigrant girls. I'm saying because they're from a different country, they are vulnerable. And the thing is, these white people, they do know that. And black people, it doesn't matter the race. It's just about the race. So people who are British citizens, there are multiple cases of rape.
Immigrant girls getting raped by British people. The rape genocide of Britain happened to a forecasted 300,000 girls by Pakistani men because they were white and kuffar. Dude, you really don't know your Islam, you don't know your Islamism, and you've never hung out in Oldham, Rochdale. You've never hung out, and I'm not going to hold you to account for that. I know these people. And you've just spoken about British raping immigrant girls. That's insane, dude. In terms of border, I'm so confused. Every time I say the most basic things, you respond with, yeah, but British people kill, British people murder.
And you're saying we're adding to the problem by bringing them in,
Yeah,
right?
why would you ever import more problems?
I'm not saying to bring in the bad people. That's why I was saying this guy.
We are, though, bringing in the bad people. You don't believe me about these people.
I know. I understand about these people. There's so many good people.
We're going to wrap up. Sorry, we're going round and round. So
No, it's fine.
Yes, I think that's the
Wow.
exact way to put it. He's just not listening, is he?
No, it's like, mate, I can't talk to people like that.
Have you realised something? This is a monumentous occasion. This
We've
is
got to the end of the video.
the end of a video. How has that happened? This success.
No idea.
We did it for once.
Yay! Boom, boom, boom. Let me say whoa. Oh, no,
Whoa.
can't say those words of a song because obviously the people will be like, wait, I'm at home making a bomb ready.
You don't want a copyright strike for that.
No.
So I think the big challenge that everyone needs to think about is, what are you going to do to try and stop this? Because we all know what the problem is. What can we do as individuals to stop this? I mean, we've all got different skills. We've all got different things we believe in. We've all got a different ability range of things we can actually do. It might just be that you go and vote in your local election next time there is one. Or you vote in the general election, because there's loads of people who don't. But if you can do something, then do it, because if you're not doing anything, then you're being complicit in what's happening. And it doesn't mean you have to go out on protests. You don't have to go and chuck a brick through an HMO's window. But just supporting people can make a difference. People like Sarah White, for example, Trigg's girlfriend. Speaking of girlfriends, where's Ricky Dicky? The electro cock. Where has he got himself to?
I don't know. He's doing a lot, helping out Gert and all that, and he's like, found something more interested in a girl than the Wiz.
Well, we could do with losing a couple of people who are currently here. Yes, I wouldn't disagree with that.
But yeah, and make sure you all go and check out my other videos, because some reason YouTube doesn't want to show people them. So, watch them, comment.
Put a comment. Actually, that reminds me, I wanted to mention a channel. I hope you don't mind. But I think people
go for it.
Like, if they don't know, I'll put it in the...
Blah, 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 blah. Oh, sorry, did I talk over you and drown it out? Sorry, mate.
Not my channel. But this person, Intel Lady, I think is really, really good. If you don't know her, she impersonates political figures. She does a very, very good one of Angela Rayner. And she's really funny. And the thing that I also like about her is she's very good at responding to comments, which is what made me think of it. And I always appreciate that when content creators reply to the comments that you use. To me, that goes a long way.
I got her on my laptop. I don't know if she knows Intel Core i5 or Intel Iris Xe graphics. Being Intel lady.
Yeah, she's
That's what stickers say on my laptop anyway. Just saying.
and she really does take the piss as well.
That's what you want. I like it taking the piss. She'd be an Intel Core. See what I've
Yes,
done there?
she's also been on which one is it? Is it GB News? I think she's on there sometimes, on Mike Graham's show. But her channel is quite small. It's only about 40,000. So go and support her work because she's good.
Yeah. And accidentally tell them everyone that you come from the Wizard of Words and they should go there too. But,
well, not much else for us to say, really.
Nope, I've got to do that in a minute.
Yeah, mine are already
Friday bin day. Dun, 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 dun.
Day here.
Happy days. So, but there we go, ladies and gents. I've got to go take my pills. Only 8 minutes late. It's all good. I've done it last week or whatever. I've gone downstairs and I forgot.
Yeah, I think I need to go and take my medicinal supplies as well. So I'm going to have a fat one. Enjoy your medication and thank you very much, Wiz. It's been a pleasure to be here. And thanks in the chat as well. It's always good to see you all. Always good and always good fun and good for a laugh. So thank you very much. Take care.
No worries, mate. Take it easy. And we got tomorrow Assassins. Assassin, you voted Assassins. I know nothing about Assassins other than Lee Harvey Oswald. But yeah, we'll be doing Assassins. I'll have to look some stuff up, make sure I've got stuff because I'm sure Slim know more than me. But that's how we learn, isn't it? So Freaky Friday is Assassins. So I need to change the thumbnail picture as well, actually. So I better do that, and all. But there we go, ladies and gents. Thanks for watching. It's been going through all the comments like we do. And we'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m, Freaky Friday. And we're all about the Assassins. But for now, ladies and gents, yeah, Sarah, I remember her. Hey, nice one, Triggered. Like I say at the end of every single video, ladies and gents, that is the Wizard's Words.